Part 5, Mount Ariat. It's cold here, so remember to wear proper clothing for your Amazon. I decided to equip the 16 to all resistance circlet, but I still hang on to the Ort helmet just in case. Now, for my first Am rune. This should have dropped in Hellforge, but this will be for a great rune word later on. Here I find a polearm, and it has 2 sockets. This is perfect after finding an Am rune for the rune word Strength. I saved up an Eth Superior Volge with 2 sockets for this situation, but the damage is overall lower than the poleaxe. So with Am tier, I make Strength for my Mercenary. This is an amazing weapon early on for your Mercenary. Crushing Blow and Life Leech are the 2 most important stats that your Mercenary will ever need. Now the Strength rune word does a little bit less damage than our current poleaxe that I have, but with the Crushing Blow it will definitely make up for it. Shank. Shank the Overseer is extra strong and is surrounded by his posse of enslaved. He can transform them into explodies, but don't worry, they aren't as bad as dolls, but still pack a punch. Try to trickle down the amount of enslaves, as to not get surrounded by suicide minions. He doesn't really move around much, so I am able to take advantage of Immolation Arrow here. Here, I circle strafe around Shank and his minions to maximize my Immolation Arrow damage. After killing Shank, there is a barrage of catapult damage sent to the area, so any mobs that you didn't kill in the area will die. Thresh Socket, a unique mob who guards Crystalline Passage. Thresh Socket is cursed, so don't get too close to him. Use your Decoy, Mercenary, and Valkyrie as a distraction to keep him in Immolation Arrow. He shouldn't be too big of a threat if your guys are tanky enough. Be particularly careful with evil urns. Make sure you use caution when opening them. I find another Am rune. This will be used for creating the rune word Edge in a bow. I find a 3-socketed short battle bow along the way, which is perfect for Edge. Remember that before making this rune word that you must have ladder only rune words enabled for this, as it is not natively in single player. Tier, Tal, Am creates Edge. Edge is a fantastic bow early on. It gives a great deal of damage against demons and undead, lifesteal, prevent monster heal, Thorns Aura, and more. The reduced vendor price can also come in handy too. I usually make an edge bow for higher level characters just for the reduced vendor price for gambling. In the Frozen River, I find Mage Fists. Mage Fist is really awesome to have for this character as it gives 1 to fire skills. This applies to any fire type damage, so not just for sorceresses. Frozenstein drops some rare boots. These boots give an amazing 24 lightning resistance, 22 magic find, and faster run walk. My current boots provide me with some decent resistances, but I opted with the lightning resistance and magic find over them. After rescuing Anya, claim your resistance scroll. I now have max 75 fire and lightning resistance, which are the 2 most important. Mount Ariat, a true test of one's character. This is probably one of the most nerve-wracking fights, as you cannot keep going back to town to resupply. This is particularly challenging for characters such as the Amazon that rely on bolts or arrows or even repairing javelins, so make sure you stock up on potions for this particular fight and get enough rechargeables as you need. I start by creating a decoy to distract one of the ancients. My Mercenary and Valkyrie are holding them in place so I can use my Immolation Arrow on them for maximum damage. Just make sure to keep giving your Mercenary potions to keep them alive, especially if he doesn't have life tap. If any ancient starts making his way towards you, you start backing off and kite. It is also good to not be anywhere near Talik, as his whirlwind can catch you off guard if he's anywhere seemingly close to you. Talik will take a bit longer to kill as he is fire resistant as well. If you find yourself out of arrows and bolts, you can always resort to using Magic Arrow. I use a combo of Immolation and Magic Arrow for this fight, as Immolation uses up a bit of mana and I don't want to waste arrows auto-attacking. Time to breathe, ancients are done. The Throne Room. Be careful when you get to this area as the mobs can be highly concentrated and dangerous. Also make sure not to stand too close to Bale as he will cast Decrepify on you. And now to prepare for the 5 waves of iconic Ak mobs. Colenso is immune to fire, so he will take some time dealing with Immolation Arrow. Try to lure your Valkyrie and Mercenary by him so he does not keep reviving his goons. After you take down Colenso, proceed to shout Rakanishu to invoke fear in the rest of the Fallen.
Rakanishu!
Wave 2 should be fairly easy with Immolation Arrow. Just target the Unravelers first so they can't revive their minions. You will notice that Immolation Arrow shreds right through the Skeleton Mages, which makes taking down the Unravelers that much easier. Wave 3 has council members. As always, be wary of them. Don't get caught up in a swarm of Hydras. Partway through, I had to go back to town to resupply real quick. Bartok is also lightning enchanted, so don't get caught up in him either. Wave 4 can be a bit tricky, as they have some hefty fire resistance and are fast. Just have your Mercenary and Valkyrie tank them while Immolation Arrow does the job. After Wave 4, it's time to prepare for the final wave. Wave 5, Minions of Destruction. Lister and friends are a very scary pack. You can get stun locked by them, so keep your distance. If you have issues with this pack, try to lure them out 1 or 2 at a time. Best to try and keep them in one location against the wall and let Immolation Arrow do its job. Thankfully, the Mercenary and the Valkyrie are helping us accomplish this. And now it's time for normal Bale. Bale can be rather annoying boss to deal with, but I find that he is a lot easier than most. Bale's teleport can make it problematic for Immolation Arrow stack damage. Just keep your Valkyrie up and immolate away when you can. For Bosons, it is sometimes best to have your back to a wall as to not get pushed back a lot by Bale's Hoarfrost. Also, stacking up on some thawing potions is pretty important too if you are struggling with the cold damage. Careful with the festering appendages, as they can cause some serious slappity slap damage. Make sure you hold Bale's hair tendrils back so he can throw up all the loot from the party last night. And aren't we lucky? Chance guards, excellent gloves for magic finding. Now if you feel that you aren't geared up enough for Nightmare, do a few Bale runs. If you feel that you are all set for the next challenge, then let's move on to Nightmare. Enjoyed the video? Make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more videos. Playing along? Post a comment below of your findings so far. Or you can watch live at twitch.tv/AlaraShade.